Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Morgan Hayes. She's with the University of Kentucky Biosystems and Ag Engineering Extension Specialist. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning.
Now, Morgan, all week we've talked about heat stress in barns and, maybe how to put fans in there to reduce some of that heat stress with air movement. But when we do anything with fans, even, at livestock shows or if we put them in barns, there's some maintenance that needs to be done when we utilize fans.
Yep, absolutely. It's really important that we have some sort of a standard operating procedure or a monthly or a seasonal checklist, just things that we need to get done to make sure those fans are operating the way we need them to.
And if you take a look at a fan that's been used, you might see some dust on it and you might think, oh, that's not a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Dust seems like it shouldn't be a big deal on a fan, but it is a huge deal on a fan. An eighth of an inch of dust on a fan doesn't seem like a very significant amount. In fact, it's pretty common that we would see at least that amount on fans very typically, but it can indicate up to a 40% reduction in air movement through that fan. So think about that. You're paying the same amount of energy to run a fan with or without the dust, but you're getting 40% less air movement with just an eighth of an inch of dust. And there are fans that I see with significantly more than an eighth of an inch of dust on them. So
And so they're really not getting the efficiency. It might even be pulling more energy because it's trying harder to push that air out.
yeah, so it could actually be pulling more energy. More likely, what's going to end up happening is it's actually going to create some wear and tear on the fan itself and the components of the fan. So, in addition to making sure we clean the fans and get that dust off of them at least seasonally, but preferably monthly. The other things we really want to do is take a look at those other components on that fan to make sure that they're operating the way they need to. There are really only a few components of a fan. It's a pretty simple system, but one of the things we should be looking at is to make sure that those propeller blades are solid and that there aren't any breaks on the ends of them, especially ones that don't have good shrouds on them. Sometimes those panel fans that we see in a barn don't have a lot of protection around them, and then you'll have an edge, especially on a fiberglass fan that's been broken off. And really, the way that the fan pushes air is from the ends of those propeller blades. So when we break off the end, we really reduce the performance of that fan significantly. There's then a drive system in the fan. So sometimes it's a belt system that's most common, and sometimes it's a direct drive where the motor goes right into a shaft and then the shaft turns the fan. And those drive systems can also be a major point of contention, especially those belts if they're not tight. Similar to a tractor or any other piece of equipment that runs on a belt, when the belt is loose, it slips and then we lose performance off the fan. A lot of times we have either louvers or a lot of metal mesh around those fans, and that's for the protection and safety of the worker. So I'm not suggesting you remove any of that material because it's there for a reason, but it tends to capture a lot of dust, which is a real challenge, and it does reduce that performance quite a bit.
And so when you said that to develop a standard operating procedure, it will probably depend on where the fan's located, how much dust is created in that area, because it might need to even be more often than just once a month.
Absolutely, yeah. Some fans can be done more often, especially if you have more of like a tunnel design where those fans are at body level where you can actually reach the fans. You can more easily clean them off. For fans that are mounted up on trusses and it takes some significant work to get up there and clean them, most people struggle to get to them even seasonally, but the more often, the better. All of these work on a thermostat system, and you really want them to turn on when it gets hot. So you really want to make sure and go in at least at the beginning of the season and make sure those thermostats are working because they tend to build up with dust as well and sort of deteriorate over time.
So what's the best way to get the dust off the fans?
So the best way to get the dust off the fans is to probably use a blower in most cases. Some fans have NEMA ratings and you can actually power wash, but depending on the type of motor and blades in there, that may be really tough on them. So it depends on your scenario as to which one's going to be easier. But good compressed air, especially if you have some portable compressed air, might be the best option.
All right. So if you have fans, make sure they're clean and getting all that dust off of them. Your performance is going to be better. Your results are going to be better. And it's probably going to increase the longevity of your fan. So Morgan, appreciate the information. And if you have questions, make sure to contact your local extension office. Thanks for watching and have a great day.